Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Agree to Disagree. I'm your host, Dean Gutik, alongside with me, Noah Schwartz, Aidan Chard, and Jack Casello. Guys, how are we doing today?
Horrible.
Oh, I'm sure it's a glorious
Abysmal.
Monday
An
in New
amazing
York.
day.
I hate everything.
I'm sure New York fans must be just absolutely thrilled with the outcome of this weekend. Their team finally won a game.
I mean, it's not every day they can say it's a great Monday. Of course, we're going to talk some college football, some NFL, some NBA, and of course, top it off with winners and losers. So let's start off with college football. So the the conference championship happened this weekend. A lot of things happened. Great games, blowouts, and of course, the playoff. The playoff rankings were revealed with Alabama and Clemson obviously being the top two, Ohio State 3, and of course, some will argue for this one, Notre Dame 4. Noah, besides myself, I know you're the college football guy, so I'll let you take this one away.
All right, thank God we're not starting with the NFL.
We'll get to it. Don't you worry.
Oh, it's okay. We save it.
So I think they got it right. I know a lot of people are going to criticize in terms of Texas A&M being there, but I think they got it right. Look, Texas A&M got their shot to play Alabama. They got blown out. They just got run off the field by the Crimson Tide. And so why would you want to see that happen for a second time? I understand that Notre Dame is not in the same class as a healthy Clemson and a healthy Alabama, but they haven't even played. They haven't played Bama yet, so we might as well at least give them a shot to win. Let them try at least, and they'll probably get run off the field and it will be over by halftime. But it's better than seeing Texas A&M get blown out again. So they got it right, and I think it becomes even more and more clear by the year that we need to expand this thing.
Yeah.
I get that there's some arguments out there that, you know, the semifinal games, if you make it an 8-team thing, will be totally useless because the 6, 7, 8 teams are never going to have a shot to win. I get that argument, and I get group of 5 teams might not really be able to contend for this thing. But it's unfortunate that we leave out some of these top teams every year. And every year we have multiple teams that miss the playoff that have a real argument to make it. And I don't think that's really the way we should be doing this sport. We should be giving these kids a chance. It's college. You know, we want everybody to have an opportunity to try and win a championship. So 8 teams is the way to go, if not 6, if they can't go to 8, but 6 would work too. So They got it right for this year, but there needs to be a massive overhaul of the system because it is just not working. And I think we'll see 2 just routes when we get to these semifinal games in a couple of weeks. And then we'll see a really good game when Clemson and Bama meet up in the championship. But for now, it's kind of lame just seeing how this all played out.
I agree. I don't think it's fair to say that Texas A&M got snubbed because you are right. They had their chance. Had they beaten Bama earlier in the season, they would be in here and they would have deserved it. That being said, they do deserve to be in the playoffs, just not this playoffs. And I think this year more than any has just shown us once again why we need to have that expanded playoffs. I think 8 is the way to go. 6, I don't know how much better it would work. I think it would just still raise a lot of the same problems. But, you know, it is what it is. And A&M couldn't make it this year. They play in a really, really difficult conference where there were 3 teams that had pretty good cases to make the playoffs. You know, and that's just the way the cookie crumbles. You know, Michigan has had great seasons where they couldn't make it in because of Ohio State. And, you know, Georgia's had the same thing with Bama. So, you know, it's up and down. What I am excited for is, I don't know if you guys saw the coaches poll today, but a certain head coach of Clemson decided to rank Ohio State at number 11. So I am excited to go in there and just blow the socks off of Clemson as an Ohio State fan. It's going to happen. Mark my words. Ohio State, it's not even going to be considered an upset because Ohio State should be favored in this game. They're the better team. They can run the ball better. They can throw the ball better. Justin Fields will be a better quarterback.
That's a joke.
Jets fans,
Absolutely
you guys
not.
are lucky. You guys are lucky. You are getting Justin Fields over Trevor Lawrence now.
I'd rather have Zach Wilson. All I'll say about this.
Someone just say Zach Wilson.
Yes. Ohio State is a fraud. That's my biggest problem with the playoff. They they didn't even win yesterday. Not yesterday, this weekend, they escaped. And I don't care what anybody tells me. That's what happened. But I do agree. I do think it should be an 8 playoff format. Even though all I'll say is I think 8 playoff is the best way to go, even though a lot of it is probably unlikely. But unfortunately, in football, anything can happen.
Oh man.
That's all I got to say about that.
Now we don't get to see Trevor Lawrence's career get ruined.
I'm enjoying this already. What about you, Aidan?
A little bit.
In terms of the last 20 years, the Jets have had more success than the Jaguars.
Well,
Dean, I'll be smiling tomorrow, and you'll be sad. So just remember that.
It's okay. Well, no, you paid the price. Yeah, you came at me with the Clippers. You came at me with the Bills, saying that the Patriots would win the division before the season. Now you paid the price. And this time, the Jets didn't get somebody a game. Not like the Raiders, not like the Patriots. This time, they win a game. Shout out to the Bills legend and the Miami Hurricanes legend, Frank Gore.
Let's go, Frank Gore. The ageless wonder.
All right, can we do our rant now? I want to get this over with. This is terrible. This is going so bad so far.
No, I got a quick question, though. This is for – I know you guys talk about the College Football Committee. Do you think they should go back to the BCS computer system?
Oh, my God, no. Oh, my God.
Definitely not.
Oh, that was the
worst. There's a lot of discussion whether they should go back to the BCS system or have a massive overhaul.
Well, here's my thing, Dean. Here's my thing. Like back then, I mean, there was a lack of parity even in those years, and now it's even worse because every year it seems that the SEC champion is undefeated, Ohio State is the Big Ten champion and they're undefeated, and Clemson wins the ACC and they're usually undefeated. Or this year they had the one loss, but when Trevor Lawrence was healthy and they were fully ready to play, they were undefeated. That would leave 3 teams that are almost going to be there every single season and only 2 spots. So that would be the worst
thing.
But
even still with that, I mean, the SEC is always going to have one contender. We saw it in, 2017 when Bama was a 2-loss team that made it and Ohio State got left out. One last team. Ohio State won.
Georgia won the conference.
And Georgia won the SEC. Right. We saw it then. Bama is always going to make it in, and then there will likely be a second SEC team. The only reason there were not 2 SEC teams in the championship this year is because Notre Dame was in the ACC for the season. Okay. Had Notre Dame not been in the ACC, A&M would be in, Notre Dame would be out. We all know that
they wouldn't be a conference champion, so that would
the
definitely
problem
knock
with
them
the
down
current system, which
like Clemson either.
The problem with the current system, which can't exactly be fixed, is the fact that every single person voting has an agenda. You have people there who just want a Big Ten team in it. You have people there who just want Bama in it, who just want Texas A&M in it. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who truly deserves it. You're always going to have unfair rankings just because of the people that are choosing. And there's not really a way to fix it because you can't get unbiased people that actually know the sport.
Oh, I think the bigger issue though is for me is how we don't have a set metric for how this should be rated. Do conference champions automatically in the Power 5 get a spot? Do they get knocked down a tier depending on what conference you play in? Like there's no clear formula for what criteria you're trying to meet. And that's an issue. I don't like the Pac-12. I think the Pac-12 is a crappy football conference, but if you win the Pac-12, you don't even have a shot to make this thing. Maybe you should. If you win the Big 12, which is a pretty terrible football conference, should you have a shot? That's up for debate. Instead of we going to put 3 SEC teams or 2 SEC teams in there over a conference champion that comes from the Big 12 or the Pac-12. I think those are the questions we need to figure out. There's no set of clear rules for what teams are trying to do in the season. They're just trying to win as many games as they can and just leave it up to a bunch of people who have their own agendas and want to make it the way they want to format it. So I think that's the bigger issue here.
I want to get a few points off my number one. I know you guys say Notre Dame. I think A&M should have been in, and here's why. A&M, Jimbo Fisher said it best. They won 7 straight. They went 8-1 when they weren't favored. They had a top 10 tough schedule. Notre Dame, when they beat Clemson, beat a Clemson team that was injured, and they didn't have Trevor Lawrence. Someone tweeted this, and I agree with this. With Trevor Lawrence, blowout. Without Trevor Lawrence, overtime. I mean, listen, DJ Ugalele, fun name to say, had a good game, but he wasn't ready. Trevor Lawrence makes this team better. Trevor Lawrence, he's not the whole team, but he makes the team better. Etienne got more involved. The receivers got more involved. You see these guys, the defense even played better. Notre Dame has the best offensive line and defensive line in the country.
But
and
Dean,
they
what's the
got
point of
dominated.
watching a second not Notre Dame, Texas A&M route against Bama? Like, who wants to watch that?
There's no shame for a team to lose to Bama. They beat Florida.
Exactly,
They
it's
beat
Bama.
everybody they had to get in their way. But
It's not like you're losing to the Jets and then getting another chance at it.
I mean, listen, A&M played a great game. I didn't like that Oklahoma was number 6. Some will disagree with me. I think Cincinnati should have been in the top 6. They're a better team than Oklahoma.
What does it even
better
matter?
They're not
What
better.
it doesn't even matter, right?
They lost 3 straight. Listen,
I mean,
I think-
it's a sense of pride, I think.
I mean, listen, Cincinnati went 9-0. They won their league title. They beat 4 ranked teams. They blew out nearly everybody, and they finished 7th in defense. But
Exactly. And when you are a team like Cincinnati, you know you have no chance of actually making the playoffs unless you manage to, go undefeated and beat Bama in the process somehow.
Right, exactly.
Isn't going to happen. So if you're a team like
never put
Cincinnati, getting that 6th rank is your national championship because
True.
you
I'll buy that.
basically
I
have
agree
to
with
be, I mean, Bama, Clemson, Notre Dame, Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan, maybe Oregon. Those are the
Oklahoma.
teams, and Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Those are the teams that are going to make the playoffs.
Right.
Nobody else has a chance ever.
I mean, listen, Aidan, and I just saw somewhere more than half of the colleges, especially that are in the Group 5, are already eliminated before the season even starts.
Yeah.
I think there should be an expansion, whether it's 6 or 8. If you do 8, have the 5 conference championship winners, 1 best group of 5 teams, and 2 at-large bids.
Yep, that's exactly what I would do. That's
I
exactly my
wouldn't
idea.
necessarily do the 5 power conference, the 5 power conference winners, because then you do have the case like Oregon this year. Oregon is not a top
They're not
8
a good
team, and they're the Pac-12 winner. They don't deserve to be in the championship or in the playoffs. And I'll defend Oregon to my grave. I love that team, but they don't deserve to be in it this year. Last year they did. This year they don't.
I just feel like there's no set
I just think-
criteria, so it's unfortunate
think
for
the
Oregon.
top
Like, what are they
4
trying
teams-
to? What are they trying to get to?
I just think the top 4 seeds automatically should have to have won their conferences. You
Yeah,
cannot
I
be a
agree
top
with
4
that.
seed
That I
if you
agree
don't
with
win your
you.
conference.
So what about Notre Dame then?
So then Notre Dame 5
Can't be
seed
top
at best.
4. That's not fair.
Notre Dame has to be a 5 seed at best. You
I
get
don't
bumped
agree
out of the
with
top 4, and who do you play? You probably play what? Cincinnati?
And realistically, Notre Dame wouldn't even be in there this year if Trevor Lawrence was healthy.
Yeah.
That'd be another loss on their schedule. So really, they don't even really deserve to be here.
That's a good point.
I think that's why that's the point. I think Trevor Lawrence would have won that first meeting against Notre Dame.
He just went out there and killed them. Of course he would have.
Yeah, exactly. He makes the team around him better. I mean, like I said, DJ's good, but
I
he's
know,
not-
Dean. You don't have to tell me.
Oh, this gets better. But all these playoff matchups are good. Clemson, Ohio State's going to be good. I'm sorry, Aidan. I think Clemson wins, but it's going to be a good one. Ohio State's not the same team as they were last year. This is a better Clemson team they're playing.
I think we should talk, since Jack and Noah so clearly want to talk about
I
it.
think the Jet fans are ready. Should we give
I
it to
think we
them?
should let's let them talk.
I'm not going to
first.
even no
All
introduction.
right, here we go. Let me go first, Jack. I'm just ready to go.
I want to start.
All right, fine. I'll let you start.
Here, first off, before I get into the Jets, on the positive side, if this was going to happen, at least I'm glad it happened now against a team I can tolerate instead of a team I can't stand like New England. So that's one positive. And also, let me just say, there's what is he putting on?
Is that Gardner
I
Minshew?
was getting to that. I was going to get to that. That's my next point. There's still hope that Gardner Minshew, he already beat them once this year. Maybe they could beat the Colts, or maybe they could beat the Bears, and we can get back in front. They beat them. Maybe the Colts will rest their starters week 17, and we all know Mitchell Trubisky is Mitchell Trubisky. So there's still some hope. It's not absolutely dead. But why? Just why? Let me take that out of my shot. They don't deserve to be, actually, whatever, I can't adjust the camera. They don't deserve to be in my shot right now. But this is what I'll say. I understand that players go out there and they obviously are trying to win. But then again, why do you have to do it now? Could you have done it week 17 and just given me a little bit more hope? And Adam Gase looked like Sean McVay yesterday, and Sean McVay looked like Adam Gase. I would have fired Sean McVay yesterday. It's 3rd and 4. In the second half, your running back is averaging 5 yards a carry. Why are you throwing 2 deep shots on 3rd and 4 and 4th and 4? What are you doing? And this just shows the Rams are the biggest frauds in the NFC. Don't even
Agreed.
tell
100%.
100% agree. They lost all
Don't tell me
credibility
they're
yesterday.
better. Don't tell me they're better than the Packers. Don't absolutely tell me that. That is a joke.
What about Jordan Fuller?
Yeah, don't even get started with him. He let Ty Johnson score that touchdown. He's on my list. And all I'm going to say is that Quinnen Williams getting snubbed from the Pro Bowl is ridiculous because yesterday he looked like that guy who's supposed to be a 2-time Defensive Player of the Year. But that guy didn't show up yesterday. He let Sam Darnold do whatever the hell he wanted to do. But all I'll say is this. The Jets still have a ton of draft picks and a ton of cap space. This coach better still get fired. I'm okay with getting Zach Wilson. I'm not okay with Justin Fields. I don't need another
Justin Fields to New York. Here we
I
go. Fingers
fraud. I
crossed.
don't need another fraud OSU quarterback.
I
So-
just want you to ruin a quarterback who doesn't have a future, not a quarterback who does.
Yes,
Wait,
I agree.
why do the Jags look much better? They're also going to be 1-15.
Because the Jags at least have like a good running back.
And they have
The
a good
Jets don't have
receiver.
a good anybody.
Why? We
They
have
traded away
Why?
their
We
best.
Tackle.
Denzel
They
Mims.
traded away their best player in the Jamal Adams, and then they cut the best offensive player in Le'Veon Bell. Now what do they have?
Denzel Mims. He's
They have a
gonna be
1-13 record. Can I go now? I'm so done with this.
Yes.
Okay. So let me just start with this. I understand that players want to win and coaches want to win. Jack said the exact same thing. But when you are an organization that is this inept and this pathetic, why are you winning in week 15? It's the 15th freaking week.
They said
You
your
had
franchise
13
back a
games
year.
before this to win, and you lost every single one, and you got blown out so many times. Adam Gase looked like a moron every single week of this season, and yesterday he woke up out of the blue and turned into like the next Bill Belichick. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And let me say this too about the Jaguars. The Jaguars handled this whole tanking thing brilliantly, because when they lost Gardner Minshew to injury a couple weeks ago, remember when he was out? So instead of bringing him back in like the next week or whenever he was ready to come back, they threw in Jake Luton, some 6th round whatever kid out of Oregon State, and threw him in for a couple weeks and let them lose. And then they threw in a career backup in Mike Glennon after that and let him lose. And then finally, only when they were forced to put Minshew back in the game, they finally did it. They looked competitive tanking with crappy quarterbacks. If they were playing in close games like they did against Green Bay, and there was a couple other ones there, and they had Minshew in the game, maybe the outcome changes. But with the Jets, in a game like this where you have a real quarterback in Sam Darnold, they couldn't blow it. They couldn't lose, and that's why they're in this position right now. It is so pathetic. I hope Christopher Johnson is sitting in his stupid little hotel or suite or wherever he's sitting right now, smiling, happy that his damn team won one stupid game in week 15 against a team that should be winning or contending for the Super Bowl right now. Instead, they're like probably crying in their own locker room.
Yes,
It's so
this
pathetic.
win does nothing but set us back. It's
Exactly.
ridiculous.
There's no positives to this. They didn't even play well.
And the sad thing is,
They didn't even play well.
they
In the
had
second half, they were awful.
the Rams
Awful.
had it. The Rams freaking had it. Cam Akers ran for a touchdown. They freaking called it back. And then freaking, why did Braden Mann? I hate you. Let him score. That stupid punter. He tackled him. Oh,
The Jets played awful. They literally, if the Jets played any other team in the league yesterday,
Yeah.
they would have gotten blown off the stupid field.
But
blown
what-
out. They were awful. They had 2 good drives the whole day. And guess when they were? At the beginning of each half, when Adam Gase is a genius at drawing up scripted plays running down the field.
but what made it?
That
But what
is
made
a
it worse?
moron.
But what made it worse for me? And I don't care what any of you say. To me, he is and will always will be. To cap it off, the compiler and the overrated Frank Gore himself has to put the cherry on the
Overrated.
top.
Who are you
What?
calling overrated?
Absolutely.
Don't say that again.
Frank Gore is a compiler. I will always say this. He's a solid running back. But you cannot tell me, I can name 6 running backs, maybe 7 in his time that I would rather have over Frank Gore.
Oh, I
No,
can
let
name
me-
100.
Let me bring this
But
back to Trevor.
who
let me
are
bring
you
this back
calling
to Trevor Lawrence,
overrated?
too.
Do
If
not
there's so many
call.
better players in your time.
Let me bring this back
Um,
to Trevor Lawrence too. For the players that are on this team right now and the coaches right now, they're basically just all here because they're a bunch of clowns that were just thrown on this awful team. And, that's the reason why they're 0-13. There's no talent and the coaching sucks. So I don't really care in week 15 of an NFL season where you're winless that your coaches are terrible and your players are terrible. Nobody cares about that. The only thing that's important is that you just let these guys keep playing and losing for another couple of games, and then it's over. And then the new players, the real guys, the guys who are actually supposed to contribute to winning, come onto this football team. And Trevor Lawrence was supposed to be driving the bus towards winning. Him and whoever coach they hired were supposed to be the co-captains of the next era of Jets success. And the Jets, this crappy team of a bunch of scrubs who won't be in the league in 2 years, blew it. They blew it. They blew their chance to get a franchise-changing quarterback. I don't give a crap about the players on this team anymore because they're all terrible and they won't be here very long anyway. But they had a chance to help us and help us succeed into the next era, and they failed at it. And they will forever be known as failures for that. It is the worst feeling ever to be a Jet fan today. This franchise is stupid. It's stupid. It's cursed.
Noah, did you hear Gase in his press conference yesterday?
I was smiling. Oh, we won. No, shut up, you idiot.
Oh, the guys never gave up. They always kept believing. What are you trying to save your job? Oh my God! If Christopher Johnson's like, see, Adam Gase proved that he's the number one defense in the NFL, that he could be a genius. I'm shocked he hasn't given a contract extension yet. Oh my God! If he's brought back, I don't know what I will do.
I said, Jack, the only thing worse than one Johnson brother is two Johnson brothers, and the moron Woody's on his way from England as soon as the new president comes in. So that's just great news, too.
Nothing could be worse than Christopher freaking Johnson. Woody needs to take it over again.
I have two things. First thing, I think the Jets, at the very least, do benefit from one thing. The Jets' last two games are against the Browns and then the Patriots. They'll
probably win one of them because they'll blow it again.
Those are two games that the Jets, by all means, should lose. Wait. The Jags
are going to win one game, and the Jets are also going to win another.
The Jags have the Bears. The Jags have the Bears and then the Colts. They beat the Colts earlier in the season, and the Bears are one of the most overrated teams in the league right now.
They're confident, but they have a well-run franchise for the most part. Matt Nagy is smart.
First of all,
Frank Reich is brilliant.
I think there's a better chance.
The Colts are rolling right now.
No, go ahead, Dean.
I said, first of all, the Colts are rolling right now. Unlike the first game of the year, the Colts have hit their peak. The Bears, I'll give you that one. But number one, I want to say that might have been the greatest rant on the show, and I'm proud to be the host of this episode. Number two, Mekhi Becton said a statement, Jack. You're really not going to like this one.
Oh my God. I love Mekhi Becton. I was furious after I heard this. Absolutely incensed.
They are not
real fans. How about the fact we want to see an actual competitive football team, and we don't want to see 3-13 and 5-11 for the next 10 years? Yeah, we're not idiots. We know what winning football looks like.
I'm sorry that we see the bigger picture, and I'm sorry that I'm not happy about a win that literally happened yesterday. 2 minutes later doesn't matter. I'm sorry. Oh yeah, at the end of the day. You know what you're going to tell your children? Yeah. In my rookie season, instead of going 0-16 and getting a guy that could change our future forever, we went 1-15, and now we suck still.
And now we got Justin Fields.
Yeah.
And if we're talking about frauds, and at least this could help us a little bit, it looks like tonight we could secure the number 2 pick at least because the Bengals are up 17-0 against.
I know.
I love this.
Point. Okay, but before we move on from this, and I know we should soon because we're
Gardner Minshew, you are the man. You got to get the job done. All of that scores one.
Let's go Colts.
If the Jets end up with the number 2 pick instead of the number 1, would you rather have Justin Fields or trade the pick?
Trade it.
Oh, you can start to plan my funeral.
Aidan, I was actually going to ask something else. Do you draft Justin Fields, Zach Wilson, or, and I've mentioned this to Jack plenty of times, you go to Penei Sewell?
No, you keep saying.
You trade down for Zach Wilson.
Yeah, but
here's my best opinion on this.
No GM, especially not whatever scrub the Jets are going to get in the offseason. No GM is going to reach for Zach Wood at the 2nd overall pick.
Yeah, I said trade down.
So you trade down to like the 10th. You can get him there.
Yeah, but
that's probably what I would do.
Like the Panthers are
lying. Here's the thing to me about Darnold, and I like Darnold. I know most Jet fans do like him. He's been beaten down for the last 2 years under this awful coach, and he's lost all his confidence. And here's the thing. We also know that every single team in this league is trying to find the next Patrick Mahomes, and even if Sam Darnold is good, he's not going to be an MVP candidate caliber quarterback.
You don't
Maybe he'll
win-
be like Matt Stafford or Matt Ryan or
Don't
something, but
win
that's at his
mediocre.
best.
You don't.
You're
win
trying to find the
mediocrity.
next superstar. You have to find another quarterback. I like Sam, but he can't be the guy. He just can't be.
Not.
You know who's going to be looking. You know who's going to be looking to trade up, or who could be looking to trade up. Who could be looking for a quarterback?
Minnesota.
You got probably 4 teams or 3 teams in that realm who could be looking for a new quarterback. You got the Falcons, the Vikings, and I think the Patriots could really be in the realm of possibilities to trade up.
I do
to
not
get
want to
maybe
trade with the
Justin
Patriots.
Fields.
That would
Patriots
suck.
are not trading up. I'm going to tell you right here, and I'm saying this right now. The Patriots, it's what's going to happen. If Kyle Trask falls to them, they'll take him, but he won't play. And either way, 100% this is happening. Jimmy Garoppolo, the prodigal son, will be back in the New England uniform come next season.
That would be awesome.
All right, can we talk about the Saints, an actual competent team, and the Kansas City, the most competent team? That would be more fun.
Yeah. Also, before we go on, you guys are bashing me, Aidan. Your team, I hope gets because you guys make fun of me. I hope your team gets screwed again this year in the playoffs. Indeed,
We know we're going to. Listen,
your team hasn't done
I don't
anything,
mind-
so-
I don't mind losing
Oh,
to the
Jack,
Chiefs.
you're just sad.
I
'cause you
fully
wish you were my
expected
team.
losing to the Chiefs. Like, I was not planning on winning this game. What hurts is the fact that, we lost last week too, and now we've basically lost any chance of getting the number 1 seed. And because the Falcons had to pull a Falcons and blow another massive halftime lead, they were up 24-7 in the third quarter, and they lost. Because of that, the Saints also still are at risk of not even winning the division. So there is still a chance that the Saints could end up in the wild card race, which I do not, for the love of God, I do not want that.
That won't happen. They have to just win one game, right?
But all things considered, I am actually kind of proud of the way that the Saints played this game. Consider who you're missing. I mean, you have Drew Brees back after 3 weeks out. You have, 4 weeks out. You have no Michael Thomas. He's on the IR. You have no Deontay Harris. You have three practice squad wide receivers. Cam Jordan gets ejected halfway through the game. So you lose him. Not Marshawn Lattimore. Marcus Williams goes out towards the end of the game. You lose him. So they were playing pretty banged up and still managed to keep this game incredibly close. I am very impressed with the way the Saints defense played. Outside of Alex Anzalone being unable to jump on top of a ball, I don't think they really missed a step. And that's impressive against the best offense maybe of all time.
I agree with that. And look, guys, as well as the Saints played, there's not many people out there that are going to beat Patrick Mahomes. Like, I know, Dean, you think you guys are going to get the 2 seed and have a shot. Going to Arrowhead in the AFC title game is not going to be easy.
Listen,
whatever NFC team comes out, it's not going to be easy. This team is all-time historic. I predicted, and you guys know this, I predicted in the preseason 15-1. I predicted it, and I was wrong on the game. I said the Saints would beat them. I messed up which game it would be. But still, 15-1 is 2 games away, and you got that. They're maybe going to be or end up being one of the greatest teams of all time. That's how good they are on both sides of the ball, and they've got arguably at this point one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever live.
I hope they run.
Sorry, it's only his third year.
I hope this time, Dean, they run for 300 yards on you, not just 240.
Jack, let me tell you something. You always you want to talk crap about it. You're just salty right now. That's all it is. And that's okay. You could take a tissue, wipe off the tears. I'm fine with that. That's okay. But listen, I know the Chiefs are when I told Noah the Chiefs are going to come out the AFC, and it's not, and no one denies that. The Chiefs are an amazing team. And listen, the difference from the Chiefs last year to this year is last year, in my opinion, they didn't have a run game. Now you have Le'Veon Bell and Clyde Edwards-Helaire. You have, not only can you win through the air, you can win through the ground. And of course, they got a defense, may not be the prettiest, but they're clutch. When they need to make the plays, they're there at the right time. Look at Frank Clark last year. He was amazing with the Chiefs in the playoffs. He was clutch. That Chiefs defense is clutch.
And they create turnovers, Dean, which is a huge part of it.
Hey, what does Tyrann Mathieu say? They got championship swagger.
Yeah, they're absolutely right.
All right. Should we move on to basketball?
Yeah. That's more fun.
Basketball.
Woo!
By the time you guys watch this,
I want to say thank the Lord for the new Jewish Jesus and Steve Cohen, because I don't know what I'd do right now.
by the time
it wasn't for the Mets. Oh my God.
By the time this is up, it will likely be just probably hours away from the first game of the season. What time is it tomorrow night? It's 7 p.m.
Yeah,
7 p.m. Eastern tomorrow night. So it will be just a few hours before the tip-off of the season, which I still don't get why Lakers-Clippers isn't the tip-off.
Kevin Durant's return.
Yeah, it has to be Kevin Durant's return. Well, that's actually in Brooklyn, so it's not even a return.
Over the defending champs? I don't know.
But then here's the thing: it's on the West Coast, so they can't do the game at like 4:00 in the afternoon.
That's fair. You have a point. So Clippers, Warriors. I mean, oh my God, Nets, Warriors. That'll be fun.
Yeah, I'm rooting for the Warriors. I'm excited to see Steph Curry back on the court. Hopefully, James Wiseman's able to suit up. I'd love to see him play. I know there's some injury around him. Kelly Oubre Jr. He recently made comments. He thinks he can be as good as Kevin Durant. I think that's a bit of a stretch, but then again, I respect having confidence. So
and there's no Draymond Green. That I know.
Yeah, but there's going to be a lot of exciting things to see in this game. How's Kevin Durant going to look? How are KD and Kyrie going to coexist? Steve Nash's debut as a coach. Can Steph bring the magic back to?
Yeah, I think definitely the biggest question, not only for this game, but possibly one of the biggest storylines to follow this whole season is going to be, is Steph Curry good enough to carry this team on his own? Because he's
absolutely. Great point, Aidan. Great point.
Because he's got Wiseman, but we don't know how good Wiseman is. He's going to be missing Green for a lot of the year. He's going to be missing Thompson the entire year. And last year, when there was just Steph, they still didn't really do too great.
But Steph was out all
yeah, Steph was out. It was D'Angelo Russell and a bunch of scrubs.
No, but even there were
players.
before Steph went down.
Their jobs.
Oh, they did lose their first few games. Here, let me put it this way, guys. And I think just like Aidan said, can Steph carry this team back to where it was, or at least make it back to the playoffs? I think even a bigger question would be, which Draymond Green are we getting? Because if we're getting the Draymond Green of 2015 and 2016, a guy who hits 40% of his threes, a guy who averages close to 15 and 6 or 7 assists and elite defense every night, that's a team that could be potentially a championship underdog. But if they're getting the Draymond Green that shoots 24% from 3 and averages 6 points, I don't know how they're going to make the playoffs. They're going to get a lot of points from Curry. They're going to get a lot of points from Thompson or from Wiggins and then also Oubre. But if they don't get the contribution from Draymond and the leadership they need from Draymond, this team has no chance. That's really what it comes down to for me.
Yeah, I agree. Draymond Green is an X factor. I do necessarily think, I don't know necessarily, because I don't see him being, I don't think he's going to average 15, not because he can't. It's just because when I look at this roster, I see him being, when fully healthy, I see him being a 5th option. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
Even with Kevin Durant there, he's still a 4th option. I think it's going to go Curry, probably Oubre, Wiggins, and I don't know how big Wiseman's role on the offense is going to be his first year.
Eric Pascal will play a lot too.
Yeah, exactly. Like Aidan said, the difference between this year and last year, this team has good players.
Yeah.
Wiggins, Oubre, Eric Pascal looks like a very bright role player. He could be another version, not necessarily in terms of defensively, but the kind of role like he's that spark plug, kind of like that Draymond was early on. And James Wiseman, he could be, the impact they get from him is going to be huge on this season. So that's going to be really interesting to see. But it's going to be interesting. I don't know necessarily. I don't think they're going to win this game. I think the Nets have too much talent. But really, to me, this entire Nets season comes down to 2 things. It's Kevin Durant, the Kevin Durant of old. So far in preseason, he's looked very solid. And not even Kyrie, not even his relationship with Kyrie, but it's going to be more so Steve Nash. Is he a good coach or is he not?
And of course, what happens with James Harden? Yeah. That's the question mark on the whole season.
I'm looking at it as of right now.
Right.
As of right now.
One, I think we can all agree that the Rockets are the biggest wild card team this year. 2, the Warriors went from Klay Thompson and KD to Oubre and Wiggins. But it's not like Aidan said, it's not like this Warriors team is bad. They have Curry, they have Draymond, they have James Wiseman, who I think is a potential Rookie of the Year candidate. Pascal. And they still have good players in Kelly Oubre and Wiggins. Wiggins is still a solid player. I think the Warriors could make the playoffs, but if they do, I feel like they would slide in at 7 or 8. I don't think it would be like the top half of the table.
All right. Wait, I have a question for you guys. I want to know, pick your team, right? Not we all know everybody's gonna pick the Lakers probably as the best team in the league right now. So not doing that. Who is your sleeper pick, and who is your most overrated pick?
In terms of sleeper, you just mean sleeper? Do you mean just to win the title or just to be a surprise?
To be a surprise.
Ooh.
Suns or Hawks?
Because I got mine, and I'll say I think the sleeper definitely this year is going to be the Pelicans. I think people are expecting them to be good. I'm expecting them to be a top 3 team in the West. I think that, I mean, you look at the way they played. Sure, it was the preseason, but they blew out the 2 best teams in the East, in the Heat and then the Bucks. Zion Williams looks absolutely insane. And I do really think that they could be a elite team in the West. And for my overrated team, I'm going to stick with the old faithful, the 76ers. Of course, I think a lot is being put on them to get to that next step maybe this year, especially if they can manage to get a guy like Harden. I just don't see it happening. I don't see them gelling any more than they have the past few years.
Yeah, I'll pick one for each conference. Teams that are for the East, I'm gonna say a team that I think that can make a lot of noise. I think could be the Atlanta Hawks. I like them a lot. I think they have a very good shot. They brought in some nice veteran pieces that I think that can help out that young core. Clint Capella is gonna be making his Hawk debut, so it's gonna be exciting to see them. I like that. In the West, I'd probably say the biggest team that can really make some noise. I like Minnesota a lot.
Oh, Jack, they're going to be so awful on defense.
I don't know.
They're going to be awful.
They got some
They're
talent.
going to be bad on defense, but like they still could be a good team. You know,
Game's about scoring. That's all. I mean, as much as you don't want to admit it, it is.
I mean, yeah, you're right.
Karl Anthony Towns, D'Angelo Russell, number 1 pick Anthony Edwards. They can make some noise potentially. I don't know. So in terms of teams that are going to be disappointing in the West, I'd probably say San Antonio. I think this year they're in for a big drop off from what many people are used to. They won't be close to the playoffs, I think. And in terms of the East, a team that I think is going to be a little bit underwhelming.
The Knicks.
Well, actually,
hard to be underwhelmed when we have no expectations.
Team that's going to be underwhelming, a team that you expect to be there, that's usually around, but I don't think they're going to be this year. I don't think this year Orlando's making the playoffs. What I will say about the Knicks, I'm not saying they're making the playoffs, but I do think this year they're not going to be dead last in the East. I do think they're going to be around like that 10 to 12.
Great. That's awesome. Progress. All right. For me, my
got to start somewhere.
My sleeper in the West, I'm going to be honest. I think it might be Houston. Like if Harden is there and they continue it with this group of players, James Harden, DeMarcus Cousins, John Wall, and Christian Wood is a really nice top 4. Christian Wood is going to average 20 points a game this year. I'm telling you right now. He's going to be awesome.
He's looking
great. Eric Gordon's still there, and you still have Tucker and Macklemore and Daniel House. That's a good team. For my underwhelming team, I'd probably go with what Jack said, either San Antonio or maybe Sacramento. I think that they're just going to be a mess. And then in the East, I like Washington, and they lost Rui Hachimura for a couple weeks today, which is pretty disappointing because he's going to be great. But I think they have an ability to shock people. I do think that their backcourt is just so dominant with those 2 guys in Beal and Westbrook that I think it's going to be tough for a lot of teams to stop them. And for my underwhelming team, I'm going to say Toronto. I think this is the year they definitely take a step back.
For
they
sure.
Lost a lot in the front court, and they don't have Kawhi anymore, obviously. So I'm not sure if they're going to be able to compete with the other elite teams in the East.
Yeah. For the East, I'm going to say my most surprising. I might say Miami. I could see Miami making the same run again or doing as good. Underwhelming is Indiana. I think Indiana is going to take a huge drop off.
Yeah.
I think while Indiana stayed in the same place, the whole conference got better. Even Washington.
They didn't upgrade anything.
Yeah. Well, East, I should say Atlanta, but West is. I'm going to say the Suns. If CP3 can do that much with the Thunder, I think he could do better with the Phoenix Suns. Yeah. I really think the Suns team could.
Definitely. They have 2 legit guys.
CP3 is good enough to carry a team on his own. We saw that last year.
Yep. And it's not like the Thunder were supposed to be good. They were supposed to be at the bottom of the barrel.
They were supposed to be garbage. I think Devin Booker is going to average 30 this year with CP3 getting him the ball.
Yeah. Disappointing in the West. That's a tough one. I'm gonna say the Jazz. I think the Jazz may take a drop off as well.
Really, I'm gonna disagree with you. I really like the Jazz, what they did this offseason. I think their team is gonna be very solid.
I didn't mention them in my underwhelming team, but I have to throw a little shout out to Aidan. I think your Celtics are in trouble. I have to be honest. I am not as high on them as most people. I'm not. I think this team is so bad in terms of its depth. They just lost Gordon Hayward, and they had no depth to begin with. And now they don't have Kemba Walker there. So I don't know what they're going to do. They're so young, and on their bench, they have nobody proven. Nobody.
Yeah, Taco, we trust.
Absolutely nobody.
Just send Taco out there to stand underneath the hoop, toss it up, drop it in.
He's going to get some legit minutes this year, I think.
Yeah. I'm worried about the Celtics. I love their first four, but besides those guys, I don't know what they're going to do.
I agree with that statement, but I do think I agree. Yeah, our starters are top of the league. You know, we have one of the best starting lineups. I genuinely think that. You are right. Our backups are not as good, but I think there are some young names there that are ready to step out and surprise people. I do think Aaron Naismith is going to have a good season. We saw a good preseason from Peyton Pritchard too. I'm excited to see what both of them can do on this team. Taco Fall, I do think he's going to start getting minutes, and I don't think he's going to be an elite center. But when you're 7 feet tall, when you're 7'7", you don't have to be an elite center to be an elite center. Seriously,
gotta stand there.
They really can just have him stand under the hoop and throw it above everybody and have him drop it in. That will work. So I don't think they're going to be contending for a championship, but I do think that their second rotation is probably going to surprise some people.
Very well.
Is everybody picking the championship as the Lakers, or Dean, are you going against that?
I'm gonna go with the Lakers, and for tomorrow's game, I'm going Lakers. Marcus Morris isn't playing. Not as much faith as I did last
year. The Lakers have no excuse. I think I said this. I
agree.
If this was a normal regular season, I expect this team to win 70 games.
I agree.
Yeah, I don't. I don't think they're going to be the 1 seed. I think Denver's going to be the 1 seed.
Really?
Absolutely.
While already having the best 2 players in the NBA, they found a way to have the best offseason. I don't know how you do that. So that's all I'm going to say.
No, I think Denver's going to be the 1 seed. I'm telling you, I'm sticking to that prediction all season. The Lakers are going to win the championship, in my opinion, but I think that Denver is going to be the 1 seed. The Lakers are going to just rest too many guys. They had too short of an offseason. They're not going to take the Clipper route and just not even try. But when there are times to rest LeBron and AD, they're going to sit. They're just going. There's 71 days between games. Like, you're not going to play many guys that way.
I'm just saying, even without LeBron and AD, you take them away. I think this team's still capable of making the playoffs with Schroeder, Harrell, Marcus Gasol. They got them.
I don't know.
And apparently your MVP kick, Taylor Horton-Tucker.
Hey, my boy. And by the way, congratulations to Kuz on his new contract. Very happy for him.
Yeah.
Luke Kennard too, Dean, by the way.
A little bit of an overpay, but I'm happy with it.
Here's all I know. Did you see the Knicks in that preseason game?
Oh, my goodness.
Absolutely. I will say this. I think RJ Barrett, I think he's going to have a very good year.
I'll say this note quickly with Luke Kennard. I think he's better than Shamet, and I do think he's going to play the role better than Shamet did.
Yeah, no, totally agree with that.
Do you think Kennard's going to start?
Yeah,
he might. I know. He might start tomorrow. Marcus Morris won't be there. He might start.
I think their best thing. I think the best thing they should do. I like putting Kawhi at the 4, and George is the 3, and then you can play
Morris off the bench. That would work.
Yeah, get an extra shooter out there. I don't know.
All right, you want to do winners and losers?
All right, winners and losers. Who wants to start? I mean, me and Noah are winners. Aidan, Jack are losers.
I can go first.
A winner? Oh man, I thought I was going to be a loser today.
I mean, obviously my loser is Noah and Jack. No, I'll be more creative than that.
No, be honest.
No. My loser.
Show your brutal honesty. That's what we're all about.
I'm wearing this.
My loser is the Saints.
I'm in mourning
because the Saints just lost 2 straight, and now they're about to go up against their kryptonite. We have to play the Minnesota Vikings again on prime time.
On Diggs.
This is not going to go well. The Vikings, we have not been able to beat the Vikings since we've been good. You know, like 2017 was when we started when we started to be elite. Lost to them early in the season, lost to them in the playoffs. I don't think we played them last year until the playoffs. We lost to them again. Like, good Lord, this team finds new ways to just bring me physical pain every single time we play them. I am not excited for it. It's going to be a loss.
Aiden, it's your punishment because that's what you get for what you did to Brett Favre. So
we did nothing. You can't prove anything.
Please go look at the hits that man took in that game. Oh my God. All right. Anyway, I'm a loser too, right? Yeah. Well, yeah. I can't say much. Aiden, all I'll say to you is I remember what losing felt like. It felt so good. Anyway, my loser. I can't say it's not. It's me. It's Noah and myself. And really just me, because at least Noah gets to be a LeBron lover. I have nothing. I'm a freaking Knick fan, for crying out loud. And what do I got to look forward to them? All I know is I just want baseball season to get here. And all I know is this week, can we please just announce that we signed George Springer? Come on, Uncle Stevie. Make me happy.
There's also DJ LeMahieu who's in the mix, apparently.
No, he's a Yankee. I don't want any Yankees.
I mean,
except for Dylan Batanzas,
at least you got At least you also got the Rangers. You got the hockey season coming, and Lafreniere is going to start soon.
That's true. Yes, I got the Rangers, as you see there. But also, if we're going to trade for if the Mets are going to add a third baseman, I want it to be Nolan Arenado. That's all I'll say about that.
All right, my winner of the week, and I mentioned some of the other NBA extensions. I got to give it to Markelle Fultz. Markelle Fultz did nothing for his first 2 seasons in the league, had the weirdest injury maybe ever in the history of the NBA. I have no idea what happened to his shoulder. But yet, last year he had a pretty good season. He didn't shoot the ball very well at all, but he proved that he can pass and he can score a little bit, get to the basket. And he was rewarded today with a 4-year contract for $50 million from the Magic. I didn't expect to get a deal. He was extension eligible. I didn't think he'd get a contract, but he got one. It's a pretty big deal for a while. And I'm happy for him because I think he's going to have a breakout year. And who knows what happens with his shooting motion, but if he can just continue to do what he did last year, he'll be an effective player.
If only the Sixers just stayed patient, they would have had a championship.
Yeah.
The Toronto one would have been theirs because if they took Tatum and they still traded for Butler and Harris.
Oh, my God.
That lineup. Because they didn't give up Fulton either of those trades.
Nope. That was deadly. That would have been.
Imagine that starting five. Simmons, Butler, Tatum, Harris, and Embiid.
Ugh. And they wouldn't have to spend on Al Horford, which was a terrible move.
Oh, my God. They'd easily be champions. With the Warriors going down that year.
Two winners. One winner is Canelo Alvarez for not only beating Callum Smith, for proving how much of a great boxer he is. I think Canelo Alvarez is, I'm not going to say this decade, but in recent memory, the best boxer ever. I mean, Canelo Alvarez is going to definitely be a boxing Hall of Famer. Canelo Alvarez is just one of the greatest boxers to ever step foot in the ring. My other winner, and I know I normally don't say this. I never say this myself. And it feels good saying that.
All right.
Clemson's in the playoffs. The Bills clinch the AFC East for the first time since 1995. The Jets win. Sorry, Noah and Jack. And more sports are coming back.
And the Clippers live in the basement.
Huh?
And the Clippers live in the basement.
The only reason.
I understand. Listen, I understand. You're going to get your championship soon, but you're only saying that because you want to cover up the Jets' pain. I understand that. I'd cover up the pain too with the Band-Aid.
I need you to know the only reason that you guys are AFC East champions because for the first 14 weeks of the season, we let you. Now we decide we want to win.
Now you guys are back and ready to actually compete.
Oh yeah, Dean, you guys better watch yourselves because we're coming now.
Yeah,
Jets are about to win out the season and then go 16-0 next year.
We allegedly beat the league's number one defense. They didn't look like it, but apparently that's what they are.
By the way, did you guys know that the Rams didn't get a copy of their schedule from the NFL because they thought they got a bye week in week 15, and I guess they didn't.
Oh,
I guess they might have missed.
Yeah, I guess not.
I guess their bye week was earlier. I don't think they knew that.
All right, everybody, I'm going to start this soon on Twitter. Maybe Noah and I will do it tomorrow. We'll be going live on Instagram as we are hanging out to watch the NBA season openers.
Yes, I will be with Jack. We will be covering each of the 2 games. That'll be fun.
Hashtag fire McVay. Hashtag doesn't take anybody seriously. Hashtag overrated.
Wait, I got a question. How come you two didn't rant yesterday on Instagram? Did you say
because I was too upset. I couldn't.
They were too sad.
You saved it all for today, right?
Just like me.
But you know what, Dean? I kind of understand where the Rams are coming from because they're not the only LA team this year that didn't take an opponent seriously.
Oh, funny. I knew that was coming at some point. But the Rams at least are better than the Chargers. You could have said the Chargers or somebody else. But like I said, you're just going to cover up for the Jets win. And that's fine. Extend Gase. Anyways.
I'm over here just chilling.
You're just lucky. We're going into week 16. And like now we decided we want to freaking care. Because look, bro, we could have had New England, we could have had the Raiders, bro. We would have been right there.
You could have said Broncos too. Brett Ripien.
We almost beat the Bills. It was 18-10.
I
Yeah.
completely
Couldn't
forgot
even beat
about
the
that whole
Bills, honestly.
Brett Rippin thing. How you guys lost to Brett Rippin. Oh,
Yeah, we can't beat Jared Goff and Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey. And you want to know the sad thing? Not only are the
Jordan
Jags
Fuller.
ahead of us now, but we also helped them because they have the Rams first round pick, which they got in the Jalen Ramsey trade.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I didn't think about that. All right, can we end this episode already? I'm so done.
no, let's talk more about the Jets.
We'll be back here next week to celebrate as Aidan will be wearing that jersey again when Gardner Minshew beats the Chicago Bears. Let's go, Minshew.
I love the statement at the end. This has been another edition of Agree to Disagree. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram, agree to disagree _VIC. Follow us on Twitter, A2D _VIC. And of course, check us out on Spotify. I'm Dean Gutik, alongside with me Noah Schwartz, Aidan Chard, and Jack Casello. See you next time.